Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, folks. It is the one and only V, the Guerrilla, coming to you on this edition of Rogue News ESW, Exit Strategy World. And with that being said, we have our main guy, Cowboy, working the airways, making sure the broadcast is coming out crispy and clean. You know what I mean? Check us out, roguenews.com. Follow us on Twitter, ESW Rogue News, ESW Rogue News. And with that being said, Cowboy, good morning, buddy. How are you?
Doing good. Did some trading this morning. Speaking of trading, we get that free Algo in the description. So if you want to check that out, see how they're built, go into the description, click the link, and you'll have your Algo. We got some fun stuff, fun news today. We got Asylums. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, let's get into the whole asylum thing. This is a move in the right direction. Asylums are back. That means less crazy homeless people that are going to jump you and smear feces over your face.
No. This is we're expanding the definition of immigration asylum. V. There's more asylum seekers.
Oh, what?
No, just kidding. That's not true.
There it is.
So here it is right here. Trump issues executive order to bring back insane asylums. What do you think of that? Did you see the thumbnail that I put up this morning, by the way? I'll flash it later.
Yeah.
We got the insane asylums are back. Trump just dropped an EO that could finally clean up America's drug-ridden, crime-infested streets, and liberal mayors are about to lose their minds. So what do you think, V? Do you think we'll see like the, one who flew the, what was that?
The cuckoo's nest? The one who flew over the cuckoo's nest?
Something like that, yeah. One flew over the cuckoo's nest, I think it's called.
Yeah. No, nice. This is a move in the right direction. I mean, it's so needed in places like New York and California and all these liberal hellholes. Which is insane because you see these liberal Democrats. I just can't figure these demon rats out anymore, man. It's beyond me. They love violent crime. They love syringes and feces and all that crap on the street. They destroy these parasites. Have destroyed everywhere they went. They destroyed San Francisco. They destroyed Chicago. They're on the verge of destroying New York. They absolutely sacked the state of California. Who votes for these scumbags except people who do not have the interests of the greater United States at large? That's who votes for these types of people. It's insane to see this. The far left is insane, just like the far right is insane. We don't need any of this shit, and I think that the country's going back to common sense, and this is one of the signs that we're returning back to common sense, Cowboy.
Oh, yeah. Well, I grew up out near LA and I lived in LA for years. And I will say that it's getting really bad out there. We left, the wife and I left Los Angeles for obvious reasons. And it was just, I don't know, maybe they can use some of those shelters that they spent like billions and billions to put up like a shack for the homeless. Maybe they can put them in that. Maybe that'll be the, you know what I mean? That whole, wherever they put the asylums. In the end, I think that we've just seen so much insanity. We got the furries, we got the, men who think they're women and, all that kind of stuff. And in reality, it's just kind of, I don't know, man. I think that we do have to be careful though. Insane asylums are, they were a place where experimentation was going on, and they're a place where you can lose your rights. I mean, if the court grants that you're insane, and they'll stick you in there, and then they'll fill you with drugs, and tool up inside of your head and make you actually think you are insane, and kind of Shutter Island style. There's the thumbnail that from today, though.
I love it.
Yeah. So but in the end, I think that there are some legitimately let's just say people who need help. If you think that you're a dog or something, like if you honestly think you're a dog, then yeah, perhaps you have some kind of mental problem. If you are a man who thinks you're a woman, and I know there's that odd, once in a while situation where there's some kind of hormonal issue. And, I'm not saying that transgender doesn't exist, but these call it gender dysphoria. It's generally just a mental disorder. And using the 1 in 1 million people who have an actual issue, some kind of weird hermaphroditism or something, to justify the mutilation of children's genitals and to justify the complete gaslighting of the public into thinking this is like a legit real thing. Well, yeah, I think there's a lot of corrective action that needs to happen. And I think when that corrective action happens, you're going to see a lot of people freaking out. And I think if you're the kind of person that's going to go destroy property over that, then perhaps you have a mental issue and perhaps you need to be put away somewhere, Now, usually if you're destroying property, jail is where you belong. But at the same time, perhaps there might be another solution for that. Or maybe you're somebody who, again, fits in those prior categories. Here's the article. This is over on revolver.news. Also, if you check the private message here in StreamYard, I sent you something. But now here in this article, this is in a major move aimed at restoring law, order, and basic sanity and hygiene. President Trump is taking a direct action to reopen mental health institutions and end the open air drug chaos that's turned once thriving cities into poop-filled war zones. That's good. For millions of Americans trapped in these collapsing blue-run hellscapes where small, medium, and large businesses are fleeing, violent crime is soaring, and the mentally ill wander the streets untreated, this is more than just an EO. It's relief. The mentally ill, are easily controlled, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. You just put them in a mental asylum.
Or an American university.
That too. Some sort of babysitting is required with them. Some sort of
that's where they become
monitoring.
Yeah. Like you said, that's pretty good. I like what you said there. Mm-hmm. There's something that came up. It was Yumi and Velas over the weekend, and it was it's not related to this specific article, but I think it is related. Now, do you guys remember Luigi Mongion?
Yeah, of course.
The guy who shot the.
Who can forget the great American folk hero that is Luigi?
Yeah, Yeah, this is you got guys like Billy Joe at Green Day saying we need more Luigi. Billy Joe's such a freaking asshole. That guy is, first of all, Billy Joe from Green Day came on the scene from what was supposed to be a punk band, completely 150% sold out, which is not what punk bands are supposed to do. He sold out hard. He bent over and just took it. He just serviced all of those executives happily, right? So Billy Joel is a sellout. Billy Joe, not Billy Joel. Billy Joel's good. I like Billy Joel. Billy Joe from Green Day, him and his buddies are sellouts. This is what they are. They're just sellout trash. And now they're out there, trying to promote political stuff. Motherfucker, you gave up your cred card when you sold out. You cannot go promote political stuff when you're a corporate shill. I mean, you can, but any punk out there is going to know that you are full of shit. Secondly, Luigi Mongion, which is more important than Billy Joe in this conversation, one thing that was revealed was that right before he went and shot the, I think it was a health insurance CEO, right? Yeah. Shot him on the street. And now he's getting letters from all these, girls and stuff because he looks like a Chad or whatever. This dude was getting into psychedelics. And so what had happened was Luigi Mongion was probably turned into somebody who belongs in an asylum. And the way that it probably happened was, if you follow his social media, he was well liked. I think he went to Ivy League school or a good school, got a degree. He was, being courted by lots of big companies. And then all of a sudden you start to see in his social media, he's getting in these circles where, psychedelics are involved. Now, I do think psychedelics have clinical, whatever application. I'm not saying they're all bad, but when you're playing with them and it's unguided, you can have brain damage. You can have psychosis. This happens. It's known to happen. This is not, this is well known. So you start to hear where he gets into psychedelics. And if memory serves, and this is all from memory, he kind of fell off for a few months. Yeah. No psychedelic and no social media posts. The guy just kind of disappeared for a few months. And then the next time you hear about him, he's, on the news for shooting a guy. So let me see if I can put this. What was her name? Shannon? That chick that Velas put in the chat. last night. I'm gonna
Oh my
pull this
God.
up. This
I forgot.
Yeah, no, I got it here. So there was this chick who was. I bet you watch this. I'll look it up. You guys can follow me looking this up. Psychedelic. I don't know if I spelled it right. Psychedelic, hippie, blonde, rapper, Shannon. I think it is SHANYN, nose ring. Let's see if this pulls it up. There she is, Shannon nose ring rapper, Shannon Blake. That's it, Shannon Blake. So this chick, I think, is a psyop, right? So Shannon Blake, let's do this. SHANIN Blake. I'm not going to torture you with her music. It's so. Should I torture us with the music?
Oh my God, what is that creature,
dude? I mean,
oh my God, that is if there's a poster child for MK Ultra,
that's what I'm saying.
There it is.
Let me just get this image open.
There is an MK Ultra poster child right there.
Oh yeah. So,
oh my God.
I mean, imagine if she wasn't like with all this stuff. She's a cute girl.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
But they got her doing all kinds of who knows what. And she's out there doing this like rap music, and it's just talking about, tripping balls and meditating in the woods and stuff. And she's down in like, I don't know, Peru or something. I don't know where she's at. She's down in South America, right? And this was like, I want to say 2 years, like 2023 or so, she got real popular, right? And that's a psyop, dude. That's like, if you ask me, I'm just saying, this whole thing is like, oh, let's popularize and normalize doing psychedelics in Peru.
Correct.
Like, I mean, I know people who did it. I know people
here's the thing. Between the whole the psychedelic push, you have the whole DMT push. People are like, oh, yes, I take DMT and I see the metallic elves, and they're the ones who guide me. I'm like, dude, your brain is just hallucinating, bro. That's all it is. You're just hallucinating, and you can have a mass hallucination consciousness because most of these, how do you explain all these DMT people seeing the same thing? Simple. All these curmudgeons, they all go to the same forums, the same websites. They all read each other's experiences. So when they trip out, subconsciously, they're experiencing what other people saw because they're manifesting it themselves because they read it somewhere else. It's the way the brain works.
Yeah.
And then when you look at these idiots, when you look at the push for the occult, right? The occult always tells you to check your brain at the door. The occult always tells you is not to be cognitive or clinical in how you are ascertaining and expressing and or understanding something, but to be completely checked out and to rely upon the most foolish of sensories, which is like your feelings or your emotions or just follow your heart. What the fuck does that mean, right? And so that's the problem. They don't anything that can promote a population of non-thinkers and tripped out idiots. Remember what it says in the Brave New World with Aldous Huxley, right? They want the population doped up, and people think, oh, they're probably going to, maybe at that time when Huxley wrote A Brave New World, he was thinking about mass medication of psychotropic drugs within the water systems and medications and food of the population. But
like
they're
fluoride?
doing that. Yeah, they're doing that with fluoride. They're doing that with food additives, with excitotoxins that are in the food and the chemicals itself. But also remember this whole push on psychedelics. And first it started with weed. Folks, let me explain something. The government all of a sudden doesn't care about you smoking weed, something that they've controlled, and they try to do the whole war on terror and all the bullshit. No, just like weed was known as a gateway drug for the masses during the entire time it's been around. Oh, it's a gateway drug. Now all of a sudden the government wants you on the gateway drug, but the gateway drug to more and more psychotropics, the more and more things that will trip you out, psilocybins and all these other stuff, so you can be completely checked out and not clear thinking. That's what this whole thing is. And yes, there are medical use cases for all of this, right? There are, psilocybins used judiciously and in control can be very beneficial, especially with some forms of self-analysis and or therapies, right?
Yeah, PTSD for like special forces and stuff.
Right, exactly.
This is under a doctor's supervision.
I don't trust Billy Bob, who's just chilling out there, to all of a sudden you give him shrooms and he's going to be judicious about its use. We're a country of no culture anymore. We're a country of excess. So how do you think we're going to handle something like this? People go, in Europe, it's fine. Everything's legal. They can use it. And in the morning, they come up and pick up all the drug addicts on the street. That's not going to work well in America. Okay? And there's a reason for this. More people docile, more people checked out, the easier there is to control. This is a totalitarian's wet dream, Cowboy.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And on top of that, when you have a guy like Mongion who, gets into psychedelics and all of a sudden, he just like disappears for a period of time. I don't know how long it was. And my timeline might not be correct. This is all from memory, but I remember that it was like he started getting into psychedelics and then there was an entire change in what he was doing. And I think he kind of fell off and then he just shows up and takes out a CEO. Look, if I remember correctly, they were using LSD, and it was I want to say it was like an agency that rhymes with Shmi Fly Bay, and they were using it to, like, they were experimenting on mind.
You mean the cocaine import agency?
Yes, sir. And so basically, long story short, I think if you're holding a psychedelic like this, especially LSD, I think you are guilty of like. I think the crime's like overthrowing the government or like conspiracy to overthrow the government if you're holding, psychedelics. Yeah, I think about that for a minute. Why would that be like that? Well, yeah, you can probably take these things and you can use them to control people. I think that's what Manson did, right? So Manson just gave psychedelics to all his chicks and, had them do all the crimes for him. So I think that the insane asylums might be a place to go ahead and put these people, even though maybe they haven't committed a crime, they're mentally concernable. Maybe they've been affected, maybe they've been twisted, whatever it might be. So it's tough because in my mind, as kind of a core libertarian, I'm more about, freedom of pretty much doing what you want, right? And so to charge somebody before they commit a crime, that does go against my core being. But at the same time, if you have somebody pooping in the street because they're unhealthy, right? I mean, that's that is a crime. And the way to address that crime might not be throwing them in prison. Maybe that's not the best way to treat that person. Maybe it needs to be medical. I don't know. We could probably move on from the topic. What do you think?
No, I mean, yeah, exactly. And the insane asylums, the whole medication thing, the whole psilocybin thing. I mean, there's a lot of crap going on, man. And it's like we connected it earlier in the broadcast with MK Ultra and all this other stuff. Look, be very careful, be leery, and be wary when all of a sudden the government that's been utilizing certain compounds and components in MK Ultra and deep ultra black projects on mind control and mind subversion and alternate personality creations and whatnot. They are literally just pushing this out there for the masses. They've greenlit it for the masses to use. Just be very aware. They don't have our best interest at heart for sure. But yeah, moving along, buddy. This is news. We all know that Gavin Newsome and the far left morons who have absolutely eviscerated, destroyed, plundered, looted, and pillaged the most profitable, most beautiful state in America, which is California. One of the most gorgeous pieces of real estate on God's green earth. Newsome all of a sudden is now, one of his policies, a California institution, Cowboy, because you used to live in LA.
Yes, sir.
A California institution, in and out, is out. What the hell's going on here?
Oh, man. Yeah, we had, I grew up going in and out. I grew up near LA. I lived in LA for years, as I said earlier. So, I mean, hey, man, when you raise minimum wage up to $20 and, you're still selling burgers at an affordable price. Well, actually, if you look at the article, in fact, I think you got a link in the private chat there.
Yeah.
What you'll find out is that the owner is moving out of California. Why do you think that is? She herself is moving out of California. Can you imagine why she might do that?
Maybe she's a racist. That's why.
No, that's it. How did you know? How did you know she?
That's what it is. That's
that got to be it.
Yeah, she's maybe a white supremacist, man. That's why she's moving out of California, because California is so progressive. It's so incredible.
Well, let me move this on. Now, this is on Parade. Got it through aggregator Revolver, but In-N-Out's billionaire boss is moving the business out of California, and here's why. Lindsay Schneider says her family is relocating to Tennessee as In-N-Out expands east, citing the challenges of raising kids and doing business in California. Yeah, we actually we got, I think, 3 new In-N-Outs where I live, and I'm not in California anymore. And I know other people who are getting them too across the country. And why? Because it's just not profitable to run In-N-Out in California.
No,
I don't eat fast food. If I were to eat a burger, In-N-Out is one of my main choices. In-N-Out or Five Guys. And even then, it's probably somehow unhealthy. Nothing's healthy anymore. But at the same time, their meat isn't frozen, whatever. Who freaking cares? I'm not trying to advertise for In-N-Out. I think they taste good. Let's leave it at that. But they're really affordable.
I'm more of a Five Guys, bro. I'm more of a Five Guys kind of guy.
I'm like Five Guy. Yeah, I prefer
Hell
Five Guys.
yeah.
It costs like 3 times as much, but whatever. It's a good burger.
It's freaking awesome.
Yeah, I hate overspending on food. Yeah. But if I'm going to go eat out, I want it to taste good.
Well, that means if they're moving out of California, that means the price of the burgers out of California is going to be much less than it is what they're paying in California.
You know what? I was there not that long ago. The price is the same at last I checked, but it's just that they can't afford to operate in California.
Yeah.
And on top of that, the owner, she doesn't want to raise her kids in California, which is
I don't blame her. Maybe she's a transphobe, Cowboy. Maybe she's a transphobe and she can't stand, surrounded by all the wonderful progressive policies that are in California that makes it so business friendly. You know how many billionaires California has lost already?
Oh, I think
28 billionaires have left California and counting.
I think I think Villa said they took over like 70 billion too with them.
Yeah, they pulled out 70 billion out of California. Several hundred millionaires, a few of these guys I know, have left.
Yeah,
or in the process of moving.
They're gonna go live over by Yellowstone.
Yeah, they're a safe place. They're leaving, bro. They're out. They're going to Wyoming. They're going to Florida. They're going to Texas, and they're not bringing the politics with them. They're just like, no, we're done. You know what I'm saying? It's like, dude, I sat there. I every time I go out to like Malibu, I'm just like, damn, man, it's gorgeous out here. I'm like, is there a way for me to hack living here, like living in California without actually living? There's no freaking way. It'd be such a pain in the ass. Now that juice is not worth the squeeze, my man. That juice is not worth the squeeze.
Oh, we didn't want to leave. We were going to move to Orange County. Orange County, like Huntington Beach, that's still conservative. But you know what?
It's like a little oasis, bro. And I love Beverly Hills. Don't get me wrong, dude. I mean, Rodeo Drive, I'll be up and down that every day. But
with the shotgun.
Like can you imagine being like, I would be so paranoid driving a high-end exotic car in LA. I'd be looking over my shoulder. And plus I can't have a firearm on top of that.
No.
It's just, dude, it's now it says, please carjack me. That's basically what it says. I would not do it. Just like when you go into the city. You go to the city, you make sure there's no Rolex on your wrist. There's no.
When V says in the city, he means New York. That's exactly what that means.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going in with I'm wearing a G-Shock in Manhattan. That's what I'm doing. I'm not bringing a Rolex. I mean, you're crazy if you're bringing like an AP or whatnot. I remember this was about 2 or 3 years ago. This guy from like Europe, he came into to NYC, and he had a Richard Mille, which I'm not a fan of Richard Mille watches. I think they're just overpriced, gaudy looking, tacky pieces to begin with. But Richard Mille watch, the guy was shot 8 times. He lived, but they were literally about to cut his wrist off to take it, bro. It's not worth it. Look, Chicago, same thing. Everywhere the far left nut chops go, the parasites destroy the city. San Francisco, gone. One of the most beautiful cities in the world. San Diego is holding on by a thread. They sacked LA. California's completely been sacked. Chicago, gone. Completely sacked. New York is holding on. Now, if New York gets Mondami, God help us.
Good Lord.
Oh, my God, man. Unbelievable.
Mondami.
Yeah, defund the police. That's always a good thing. And, instead of having police, we'll have social workers to respond to emergency situations. Yes.
Yeah, when the guy, is in your apartment, he's got a knife to your throat, and the social worker is going to knock on the door and talk about, how we should all be equitable, and don't
Yeah,
just give the man with the knife what he wants.
exactly.
So he
I,
doesn't want anything; he just wants to kill me.
no, no, just give him what he wants, man. Give him what he
Then
wants.
let him kill you. That's
I
equitable.
saw. I don't know what it was. I think it was L.A. or I think it was L.A. County. They were giving out a pamphlet for one of their office parks where I think a bunch of school administrators worked at, and the pamphlet was for what to do in case of a mass shooting, right? And literally was hide under your desk and try to either pee or defecate on yourself. Basically, shit your pants and hold on. And if he gets beyond the smell and stench of you shitting yourself, and he gets any closer, hopefully try to find a scissors. That's how you survive, dude.
What?
You know, the mass shooting in Texas. They tried to do a mass shooting at a church in Texas. As soon as the guy pulled out his gun, he got blasted.
Yeah.
By like 10 people.
Yeah. It's a tricky thing. So one of the things about concealed carry is that if there is an incident and everybody goes to take out the bad guy, you don't know who the bad guy is. Yeah, be careful with that. If you're in a church, everybody knows each other. And I believe the guy who got taken out in the church is a security guard. I mean, the guy who took out the bad guy was a security guard.
Yeah.
So I conceal carry. I carry everywhere I go.
Yeah.
And, I'm trained. I have, some tactical training and things like that. And I spend time on the range. And now in the US, that doesn't mean that you need to have that training. You just, we don't have a rule around that. But I would say that there's just going to be a lot less crime in a place where everybody's carrying a gun. Like, you're not going to, if you know that an entire place is carrying a gun, then it's going to narrow it down to the people who belong in Trump's asylums. Like, who's going to come out and try to shoot everybody? You know what I mean? Like, and there's been an interesting trend in the mass shootings coming from the Troons.
Okay.
Troons, the men who think they're women.
Yeah, that's true. The Tennessee shooting was a trans person.
That was a Troon. Yeah.
That was a Troon, and there was a few other shootings. The last couple of shootings were all Troons. That's correct. Yeah. I mean, they're doped up on all sorts of psychotropics,
antidepressants.
Yeah, antidepressants and whatnot, and that plays a huge factor, bro, big time. Yeah. On top of all the, God forbid, you decide to go chop your balls off, and then now you're on, antidepressants and SSRI inhibitors and this, that, and the other, and it's a dangerous cocktail.
Well, yeah, I mean, again, to even be in the first place willing to go through all that, there's something going on. Have you ever heard of the website called ssristories.com?
No, I haven't.
You gotta see that. Let's bring this up. SSRI stories. So
this is what this needs to be. This is like people talk about Oxycontin and all this other stuff. This is another epidemic of drugs that Americans are on with their SSRI inhibitors, Prozac, and the like.
Massive index of over 4,800 cases, which contains over 100 categories, is now capable of showing singly the 13 most important categories. Okay, so you have women teacher molestations, postpartum cases, murder, suicides, murder attempts, suicide, road rage cases, 1 SSRI committal cases, highly publicized celebrity, so soldier cases, school shootings and incidents. Let's go there. School shooting, drug.
Oh, look at that.
Now, you'll notice this. You have to think about this in a moment. But there is like a ban on talking about any kind of drug that these people might be on during these shootings. I don't know if you've known that, but the news won't talk about.
No, the news. No. And that's how you know. Whatever is verboten, right? Yeah. That's how you know that that the establishment don't want you looking at it, don't want you even talking about it or even asking questions about it. They don't want you to do any of that. That's right.
No. Yep, that's the thing. I got to take a quick trade here. Been scalping while we're talking. So Yeah, look at this. School shooting, Prozac withdrawal. School shooting, Prozac, and we're still going to get banned over this. We support the use of antidepressants, and we don't believe that they cause any kind of shooting for anybody who is listening. But the screen kind of tells you everything. So just notice that you'll never hear about this. But this website, we must report this website. They are evil. It's called ssrstories.net. Don't go there. Don't believe anything they say. I'm gonna get a knock on the door from somebody bad. But yeah, that'll let you know right there. It's what's going on there. And they'll go international and you hear about stabbings in countries where you're not allowed to have guns and stuff like that. So there's another interesting thing going on here, and it's a good article on Zero Hedge, and it talks about the market. V, have you noticed all of the should we talk about that? Or I got a better one here. Let's put the focus back on California really quick, because Velas gave us a really good article this morning. We should probably keep going on this route. So let me share this screen. Now, I was in LA at the time that the fires happened. And of course, anybody who's following is knowing that basically they're going to turn Palisades into Section 8.
Yo. I thought it was a joke, dude. Yeah, they're literally taking the most beautiful piece of real estate overlooking the Pacific Ocean, and they're turning it into Section 8 housing.
You can put it into Section 8. We're gonna be, this is like crackheads walking around.
Californians enjoy it. Y'all voted for this.
Oh my God. Y'all voted for this. Okay, so the Los Angeles Firefighters Union is suing Gavin Newsome for $400 million for dereliction of duty during a crisis. The suit claims that LA Fire Department repeatedly requests that the water be turned on during the fires earlier this year, but the governor refused. Interesting. We need water to fight the fires. No water. Just go fight them. Use shovels and dirt.
The Midland snoot, whatever the hell that fish is, goat, whatever the hell it is, needs
the 2-inch guppy minnow thing. Yeah. It also states that the department's trucks were forbidden from siphoning water from the ocean to battle coastal blazes because of the damage it might do to marine wildlife. These guys hide behind the environment. They don't give a shit about the environment. They want to destroy the earth and everybody on it.
Dude, you have to understand, this is that whole Malthusian Hegelian dialectic at play, right? This is, people are like, the Democrats, look, it's two wings on the same dragon. These are globalists, folks. And here's the deal. This is a death cult you're dealing with, right? This is a death cult. These are nihilists. And what they believe is a new type of neo-feudalism. And oh yeah, the oceans will rise. Every single one of these assholes buy a mansion right next to the water. But Nancy Pelosi's got a beach house in Miami, man.
Yeah,
but climate change, it's going to destroy everything. Oh yeah, unbelievable, man.
No, they're bullshit. This is all bullshit. So here he is, gruesome Newsome, with this mouth full of man mustard.
Yeah, what's in his mouth, bro? Seriously.
He just got done. He just got finished.
He just finished servicing Joe Biden. That's what it is.
Yeah, just watching a building go up in flames because can't do nothing about it. Yeah, so they're gonna sue him. It's basically what it is. They're gonna sue him. I don't know if they'll win. I think they should. It's $500,000. They should take that money and give it to the residents of Palisades. They should evict. I don't know.
I have a listener who said who's like, it's Compton Heights, bro. They're building Compton Heights.
Oh, good God. Yeah. Okay. Oh, sorry. I can't read any more of these comments. I know I started it, but anyway, yeah. So they want you dead. They think they're above you. They think you are subhuman.
Correct.
Because, they know the right people and they serviced the right globalists, right?
Yep.
And this is Newsom showing the end result of that right there.
Yeah, Newsom, the World Economic Forum scumbag. Newsom.
Yeah.
You will own nothing and you will be happy.
Yeah, he's a cockholster. So all I can say is let's just hope that lawsuit goes through. Seriously. Look, beware. What does this say? Digitally. Yeah, of course they caused the fires. Like, I mean, we don't know that they caused the fires, but what's the connection V you guys were talking about? Like, there was a sheriff involved in that one, and he also.
Well, here's the thing. There's a sheriff, and I forgot the name of the sheriff. This was the sheriff that was in the Las Vegas shootings, right?
Yeah, and the Hawaii thing too, right?
And the same sheriff was there for the Maui fires. And we all know the Las Vegas shooting is mathematically impossible. It's mathematically impossible that this guy's going to dish out 3,000 rounds per second, and he had like 15 or he had like 150 something firearms with him, assault rifles, machine guns, you name it, right? He looked like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Terminator 2, okay, with the minigun coming out of the office building, just spraying police cars. That's what the Las Vegas shooter looked like. We know it's fucking impossible, right? We know that was a false flag. We also know there was a bunch of other shit. There it is. Thanks, fellas. Pelletier. He has a French name. Pelletier is Sheriff Pelletier. And the same guy who I think is some sort of a deep state stooge, some sort of a CIA plan of whatnot, some sort of guy who was in charge of the Maui fires, where they blocked off roads where people couldn't escape. And again, Maui's been completely tortured. What do they do? What are they building in Maui? Gee, I wonder what they're building and rebuilding it, because nothing's been rebuilt. Just like in California, nothing's been rebuilt. This is a fucking problem, bro. I hope Americans are waking up to this fact. It is grift and graft at every level, man.
Yeah, but this is what they do, because they don't build anything. Their job is to destroy and steal.
Yeah.
And if you think that like 95 to 99.9% of Republicans are not doing the same thing, then, well, what do we always say about bridge real estate in Manhattan, right?
Exactly. I have a bridge to tell you.
I mean, I would love for, all of the crash helmets to save us and everything, but in reality, that what they're doing is not sustainable. It will crash, and they'll go and they'll, to their, as Velas would call it, the ice castles. They'll go into their subterranean layer in Antarctica with all their little boys or whatever they do. And, we'll have to deal with the consequences here. And you know what? If you're living in a big city, good luck to you. Good luck to you. We left a large city because we saw a preview to what seems to be coming in 2020. Because all they had to do was, how did Gus say it? They locked us down for 2 years over the flu.
You were like a block over from those riots, bro. I remember that.
Yeah. I was like, I was up every night. And look, in California, so you understand this, in California, if someone breaks into your house and you shoot them, you go to jail.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Then there's ways to fix that. But in the end, the probability of you going to jail is extremely high. And so, and you going to jail and staying there because you were guilty, like, you're going to go to jail for sure. You're going to spend the night in jail. That's going to happen for sure. But on top of that, there are very few circumstances where that doesn't happen in California. Okay. Yeah. You know what? Valley Girl says leaving isn't always an option. Well, I'm going to put it to you this way. Sure. Staying and dying is an option. Definitely.
Not for me. It isn't.
Staying and dying is an option.
Yeah.
So you can leave, you can stay and die. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but we saw how easily this was done in 2020. They took the flu and told you it was something else. And then they got you to stay home.
Yep. Right.
They had cops coming up to you on the beach.
Yep.
They had all kinds. We didn't know all of the tyranny that happened during that period. Right. And on top of that, then they took a guy who died of a drug overdose in custody and made up a story.
Are you talking about St. George?
Yes, St. George. And they made up a story about the cop killing him. And then the cop's still in jail.
Yep.
Right. And then the whole nation, I think it was like how many billions of dollars in damage occurred?
Cowboy, I understand they were rioting during a quote unquote scamdemic.
No. The virus knows that
the virus is a polite virus, bro. It knows you're protesting for your civil rights. and it doesn't infect you. I don't know if you knew that, bro. Same thing if you're eating food and stuff. If you go to a restaurant, you walk in, you have a mask on, but as soon as you sit down, you take the mask off and you start eating, the virus is like, whoa, he's eating. I have to wait until he gets up. Oh, he got up. Oh, shoot, I couldn't move fast, so he put his mask back on. Damn it.
Yep. No, it knows, dude. It knows. And if you are rioting, it knows that's like, okay, he's only 5.86 feet away from the guy next to him. But you know what? He's in a mostly peaceful protest. So we'll leave him alone. Right. Yeah. So they gaslit everybody in 2020, and they didn't even really need that much to do it. It wasn't that complex. Right. Like they just threatened all the doctors, threatened all the governors. A switch was flipped. That was what happened then. Like, do you have any idea what they're willing to really do? Like when they release the real virus? Correct. Or they decide to maybe just detonate a device and say it was so-and-so. I mean, I'm just telling you guys.
It was the Iranians, bro.
It was the Iranians. I'm just telling you now, like, if you think that the crash helmets are going to come in and save you, I mean, look, Velas has some suggestions to those who can't leave. He says, I would qualify if you can leave. If you can't leave, if you can leave if you can. If you can't, then defend in place and use the courts and your rights under the Constitution. If you must, start filing judicial misconduct complaints. Yeah, go legal. And that's in a scenario where everything's going to be okay, right? Hopefully things don't blow up. And I'm not saying it's all going to end and, all this stuff. I'm just saying, man, if you can go somewhere, I don't know if we talked about this before.
Look, I get it. Like there's some people that just can't leave because family. They have elderly parents and grandparents and family and family's an important thing. And you can't
take care of your parents or something that they're sick and.
But have contingency plans, right? Like I always tell people, it's like hope is never a strategy. My mentor, the guy who taught me everything that I know about what I'm doing today, my mentor told me best. He goes, "You can shit in one hand and hope in the other. See what piles up faster." Hope is not a strategy. Never is, never will be. I don't hope for nothing. I plan, I prepare. You got to have contingencies, folks. That's the whole entire thing. And it's like, okay, fine. You're going to be in the city. There's actually entire websites that, hey, how do you prepare when you're in the city? Everything from water filtration to food to self-protection, how to protect your own apartment from being not having your door kicked in. All that stuff, it's there. So it's never lack of resources that undo people. It's always lack of resourcefulness, whether that comes to finances or whether that comes to preparations for natural disasters, man-made and other, or whatever's around the corner. Look, there's a lot of historical paradigm-altering changes that are occurring right now globally. The entire world order, the unipolar world that's been running for the last 100 years is unraveling. And we're seeing the death rattles of a dying jackal as it comes apart. But the problem is with this dying jackal is an animal is very dangerous when it's cornered or when it realizes that it's fighting for its life. It's extremely dangerous. So as the new multipolar world is emerging, right before our eyes, and the world power structure completely changes. The United States is no longer the lone superpower on planet Earth. Now we have emerging powers and emerging systems and emerging perspectives on commerce and world government and how things are. This is going to create that chaos that people are going to be facing, and you have to be smart and prepared for it. Hope is not a strategy, and people think that they can live ignorant and free. You're greatly mistaken.
Frignorant. Yeah, it's not all doom and gloom. Like,
no, it's all solutions based.
Yeah, you got to have solutions. So there's a book and this guy is like a pickup artist, like, manosphere guy. His name's Neil Strauss, and whatever, it doesn't matter. There's a book by him called Emergency, and he actually outlines his whole study into, how to handle that situation. And, I would ignore most of what he says about, anything else, but at least that book does talk about how he kind of got himself ready for, how to survive in the city in those scenarios, right? So it's not doable. And you know what? There's Valley, I know where you're at. It's not quite as bad as what we're talking about, but That's a whole nother. I mean, we could do a whole show on prepping and all that stuff. This whole community has probably watched a million prep videos and knows what prepping is, and that's easy enough to search out. V, you got a link here. Let me throw it up there.
Yeah, we're not a serious country, and it's just like this is why we can't have nice things. And I think I shared this with you and fellas the other day.
Yeah, you did.
I mean, look at this. Like, why can't we do shit like this? Watch. This is China, the evil communist Chinese who are looking to take over the world. Blah 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 blah.
Did you know China is killing the game with some mind-blowing tech? They just rolled out the world's first high-tech gold ATM that melts, tests, and converts gold into digital cash in seconds. It's a game changer, especially with gold prices skyrocketing amid global economic uncertainty. People are flocking to these machines with up to 80 folks a day trading in their jewelry for cash. But that's not all. China has also installed smart urinals in public toilets that can detect health issues like diabetes and nutritional deficiencies for just under $3. These high-tech toilets are a major step forward in preventive health care. Artificial intelligence and computer vision are used to quantify and analyze the data collected from these smart toilets, enabling accurate and reliable health monitoring. Imagine getting your test result in just blink of zip. This technology can facilitate remote health monitoring, reducing the need for frequent hospital visits. China is clearly surging ahead, surpassing what's been considered Gen 7 tech from just 3 years ago. They're showing the world what innovation looks like, and it's making America look like it's playing catch-up. With these advancements, China's making huge strides in tech, and it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of the world responds.
There you go.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. China looks like an amusement park.
Bro, they're living in like 2050, man. It's like this is what happens when you're not spending $36 trillion on war. And you're reinvesting it back into your own people. This is what happens, and the grift is running its course, man. And that's what we're here. We're documenting. Hey, put us back on the screen. I think the screen is blank right now.
Oh yeah, sorry. We could have been a utopia.
We could have
been. Like we could have been a utopia.
Yep.
I don't know what to say. We squandered it. We had it all.
It is what it is. Anyway, folks, we're at the end of the show. Cowboy, you have anything to add?
Say again.
We're at the end of the show. You have anything?
Yes.
To add?
You're coming. I can't hear you, bro.
Can you hear me?
I can now.
Okay, sorry. I said we're at the end of the show. You just muted yourself.
Yeah, I did because my daughter's screaming in the background.
It's all good, brother.
Yeah, good. All right. Well, don't forget, go to the description. Links in the description for a free algo. I show you how I build them, and if you really know what you're doing, you might be able to make it profitable. It's more for research purposes only. Other than that, we got Ben Kelleran tomorrow coming on.
Yes, Ben Kelleran, our favorite petroleum trader, will be on talking about energy markets. Tuesday, that's tomorrow. Wednesday, we got Gus. Who we got Thursday, man? Got anybody
I don't know that we have anybody.
See if we can reach out to Harley.
Well, you know what? We kind of saved that for Matt Arid if he wants to come back.
Yeah. Let's get Matt back on.
All right, I'll ping him. I know he's got. I'll ping him. See what he says.
Yeah, sounds good. And with that being said, folks, we're at the end of the show. Follow us on X at ESW Rogue News. Check us out at roguenews.com and exitstrategyworld.com. I'm the gorilla, the monetary monkey of mayhem. He's the cowboy, and we're over and out. Take it away, cowboy.